Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Tony Stark Iron Man issue 10. And this was a pretty great issue because we got more movement on what's been going on inside of the Escape, and just kind of more plot threads are kind of intertwining and really just moving it forward into an interesting kind of way. So we start off and we see Yocasta's pretty much taking control of the war room in Stark Unlimited and finds that Friday's body is still on the floor and berates them for being like, hey, if this was any kind of human colleague, you would have moved her out of the way and everything. I'm like, yeah, she's got a point there. So, of course, one of the employees takes her off and puts her in a better place. And, of course, she gets more kind of technical readouts of what's going on and gets an offer to help from Sunset Bane, and yeah, she acquiesces to that. She also gets intel on what's going on with Janet and Rhodey, and she, of course, lays down that Bane's helping them take on the Controller, but that's not where the main battle is. Fighting the Controller is kind of a secondary issue at this point, as we see that Tony is inside the Escape and trying to fight what's going on. He is able to break out of Motherboard's control and is kind of congratulating Basil for what he did in messing around with Motherboard, but Aaron, of course, is like, hey, he makes a funny joke of him being Mr. Stark naked, because when he broke out, he was just completely naked, but goes on to explain that, no, he might have affected Motherboard, but he's not controlling Motherboard. So they still have the problem of trying to mess around with Motherboard and what they need to do with her. Of course, she's trying to get Tony back under her control, bringing him to a Knights of the Round Table kind of thing, because Tony loved that as a kid. And I kind of like them bringing that kind of up because it really fits with Tony's personality and why the Avengers as a concept would work very well for him to actually go in and be a part of, with the Knights of the Round Table and all that. He, of course, is calling out and being like, no, and I'm not going to fall for this or anything. And she, of course, is trying to fly him with flagon of ale, and he's pissed off about that, being like, no, you are messing with my brain chemistry. I do not want any of that. She then, of course, tries another tactic of a space opera. He's like, no, I don't want any of this. And while this is going on, we see that the Howard persona goes into Arsenal mode and is taking on Machine Man, and that when he's like breaking him apart in the Escape, it is destroying him in the real world as well. Really bad damage as well. I'm going, wow. And him staying in there is a testament to him to helping what's going on. Of course, we then start moving into the fact that they're trying to figure out how to combat this. Yocasta, of course, gets a lowdown from Andy. He's working on it, and he is able to get a signal thing to stop people in the Escape and eject them out and stop them from being under the Controller's control. And he's able to do it on Cade first, and that works. And he's able to give it to Yocasta to send out to the rest, and we see them working as the Avengers and the Winter Guard, and the rest of the heroes are able to get people out. And he tried to do that for Amanda, but she's like, no, leave me in. I have to deal with what's going on. Of course, that doesn't really help them with the Controller too much, because he's still uber strong. He's able to knock Rhodey out of commission, but it knocks him into a portion where he sees that Bane has been making illegal copies of the Escape mask. Of course, we see that Sunset's like, that's not good. Arno, do what you're doing, because when they were in there, he was like able to bypass security and see what's going on. But of course, he wants to do surveillance and is continuing to look in. This shifts back over to Tony, and he has been turned into a little boy, and that's the best kind of route for Motherboard to do it, to completely get Amanda off the playing field of, okay, formative Tony wouldn't understand who Amanda is, and he doesn't. He's like, I just want you to go, and she goes out, we see the ones and zeros and everything. It's like, oh, okay. But then he turns on Motherboard and Howard, saying that they're engrams, with Howard's being in the Arsenal robot that his father created, and Motherboard being in a computer called Mistress. And he's talking about how he tried to be like Howard Stark and everything like that, as Howard's AI starts turning into Arsenal mode. Tony then decides to be like, no, I've created this world. I'm the architect. I control all this, and then puts himself in his Heroes Reborn Iron Man armor. The one issue I have with this issue is that with the panels for this, he is in his Heroes Reborn armor, but when he is blasting the Howard Arsenal AI program, it's the Extremis armor. It's not a huge thing, and it's not really badly done like it was really quick. It was just really inconsistent and kind of like, what? We've got it right here. And he was talking about how Iron Man was as a concept and an idea, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I get that. I like them bringing that back up. Of course, Motherboard doesn't like that the Howard program was destroyed, and she's like, I'm a god here, I will punish you. And he's like, well, if you're a god, I need to make Godbuster armor. And the Godbuster armor, holy shit, I really love the design for it. It's just really kind of crazy. While this is going on, we see that Arno is looking in, and Tony's berating the Motherboard program, talking about how, yeah, I know I was just a decoy for the one that you really loved. And they're like, how did you know it? She was like, how do you know about Arno? And Arno, of course, is looking at all this like, what the fuck is going on? So we'll have to see how his relationship with Sunset Bane and Tony changes after looking at it like this. And of course, he blasted out Motherboard, and that kind of reset the escape thing. And we see that Tony is like in this white space, and we see Machine Man's head, as he had been appraised of what was going on with Yocasta, and said that I'm staying in no matter what because I need to do this. And they're kind of doing their rundown of what had occurred and what was going on. They're like, hey, how was your like trillions of dollars therapy session? I'm like, that's okay. And trying to figure out their next move and everything, but Tony starts acting really strangely, and we find out at the end that his suit is in outer space, and he's passed out, and his oxygen levels are low. It's like, holy shit, that's not a good place to be, but it's an effective place to end an issue. So I'm really excited to see how Tony is going to get himself back to Earth, and how his supporting cast members are going to help him with that, and how they're going to deal with the controller now that he's like uber freaking strong, and what they're going to be able to do against Sunset Bane, since she is doing such crazy espionage, and how Arno is going to take this information that he's gotten. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.